My name's Julie McDonald, and I'm the Executive Director of the Nature Center.
I'm Barbara Gutman. I'm president of the board. I've been a docent for 20 years here.
I'm Lowell McClellan, and I'm the treasurer and secretary.
Alright, so how do you think the drought has affected the wildlife here at the lake?
Well, it's very interesting because everything's incredibly stressed at the lake. The wildlife, the vegetation, I mean, on every level, the ecosystems are very, very stressed and compromised. And so the larger mammals are most affected. So what we've seen, even locally around the nature center, is the smaller, the rodents, the population has increased, where the larger mammals in the area have been really, really stressed and are having a very difficult time. So yeah, that's something that we've
We
seen.
just don't see as many deer.
Yeah,
I
deer
mean, we used to see deer when you go
on your hikes.
154 and
The one thing that is pretty amazing though is if you get an opportunity to go out on the lake, you will see, because there's so little water, you'll see the wildlife that is around down by the lake edge, because there isn't water hardly any place in the backcountry right now. So everything is coming to the water's edge, to which is the lake and small areas of the river or short areas of the river to get water. But yeah, you're just not seeing them throughout the park like we used to.
What do you think the best solution to the drought is?
Well, the main thing, I think we all have to start living within, think more sustainable, because this is a problem that has always been. Drought is a natural cycle in California. Our area is a very arid area, and we have increased the population and development, which, you know, there's good sides to that, but when you have only a limited resource of water, you have to live within that means. And so we've had severe droughts before, but it has not impacted the lake as much because there weren't as many people. And there's a lot more people in Santa Barbara County now, so we're really seeing the effect of that.
resources,
Yeah.
It's diminished.
So if everybody could try to conserve more and use less, that would make a big difference. But you know, it seems like I think the city of Santa Barbara just recently put a ban on lawn watering. Well, we've been in 5 years of drought, so I think we need to be a little more proactive in planning these things out, and maybe not even wait until we're in a drought, but have really promote different landscaping, more arid, native landscaping in the yards in Santa Barbara and throughout our county, so we're not using as much water. That would be huge. But for right now, I think we just have to really use as little as possible of the water, only for what we really need it for, and capture our gray water and really cut back, and then when we get through this drought, and hopefully that will happen soon, we start always thinking we're in a drought and keep those measures in place. We do live in an arid zone in California, and we should probably try to think of how we can live more sustainable within our climate and environment and ecosystem. And I think that could make a big difference, because when we have a lot, we probably use a lot and don't think about it, you know, don't think about where that water's coming from. And I really think it would be wonderful if everybody that lives in Santa Barbara came to Cachuma Lake and saw how low the lake is.
Like, other than population growth, how else do you think that humans have affected the drought?
Well, I think just not conserving early enough, you know,
Or at all.
or at all, or, you know, I think our policies or the way we live is when we're not in drought, we just forget we ever were in drought. And then when we're in drought, it takes us a long time to realize we're in drought and act accordingly. So maybe just really pushing for measures that, like the native landscaping, instead of having huge lawns and really pushing for maybe with tax incentives, more tax incentives of recycling water and using more sustainable measures in everybody's homes. But also, a lot of the parks have already done it, you know, using gray water and recycled water. But we just have to do more of that, I think.
Also, does it affect plants and stuff?
Oh, yes, yeah. Well, what's happening here, so some of these oak trees have been here for hundreds of years. And many of the trees, well, almost all of the trees that are not native, and it might be all of them in the park that are not native, have already died. They're dead. The oak trees, there's a lot of them that are so stressed, and they're used to, I mean, this is their environment, they're used to droughts. This drought is so severe that a lot of the oaks, the valley and the live oaks are dying. And then we're getting a lot of what they call limb failure. These huge oak trees, with no warning, the limbs will just come down. And so that's a sign of a tree being incredibly stressed. So, but everything's been impacted, all the vegetation. And the vegetation in this arid climate is used to drought, so, you know, they won't put out as many buds, or, you know, they pretty much know how to survive in a drought, but even their survival mechanisms aren't
Well, we
working.
can contradict ourselves because there are more and more grape vineyards. They're springing up.
Mm.
I mean, brand new. They take a lot of water.